Hello, everyone. Here we are having a little dance with Shiv and me in the studio. It's so nice to have you with us, Shiv. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. It's going to be a very busy weekend. Got an event tonight, Halloween night.
Wow, dress up
Preparing.
party.
That's right. Yeah, dressed up, but I'm going to be kind of running it, so I don't think I will be dressed up. I'm past that. Okay.
I'm so nice. It's so nice to have you here, and I feel it like it's a nice connection that we have. You are supporting me so well. I just wanted to say thank you for helping me because Shiv is in the background, and he is doing actually the games that you are playing throughout the whole summit. So I'm so happy for your support.
It's my pleasure, and indeed, thank you. Thank you for inviting me as a speaker. I appreciate that. It's a great, it's of great value to me as well.
So let's start your presentation. I will bring it up, and in the meantime, I will just take away the branding so that your presentation will be visible totally. Nothing stays in the back, and I will bring up the presentation. And here we go. The stage is yours, and we will talk about Coal to Diamonds creating value with Shiv. I will ask my questions a little bit later, so I will just let you do the presentation first.
Okay, thank you. So this is all about value. What do we mean by value? It means different things to different people, I guess. How about you, Andrea? I'd like to get you in here. Your opinion, your view. If you see on the screen there, what would you prefer? We have a bucket full of coal there, charcoal, and we have a bucket full of diamonds. Coal or diamonds? If I brought a bucket of coal and a bucket of diamonds onto your desk, which would you choose, Andrea?
When I was a kid, I loved coal because I was drawing with it.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so I would choose the coal. I think I can do much more with coal than with diamonds.
That's interesting. Is that right? But can I play devil's advocate here? If you had a whole bucket full of diamonds, you just take one of them and go to a diamond store or a jewelry store. You can sell it and you can have even more coal. Isn't that right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
there is a lot of things in the coal, and we can use it for a lot of things. And there is personal preference, and there is everything. But yeah, for me, it has a lot of. It can give you warmth. You can go very creative. So I really prefer things which are not polished yet.
Okay, great. There's no wrong answer, and indeed, I salute you for the answer because when I do this at times, many people go and say we want the bucket of diamonds, and they say, well, I can buy a lot of coal, etc. Then I put them in a situation. Imagine you're stuck in the Arctic Circle in a cottage. And it's right out there in the cold of winter, and the rescue team is coming in about 3 days. Now you have a bucket of diamonds and a bucket of coal. Which would you prefer? Obviously the diamonds of no use to you at that time. Huh? So your value of the coal is much higher than the value of diamonds. So that's what, in a way, we speak about, value creation, and therefore what it is you value. Huh? So we all value something based on our needs, our emotional drives, our personal experiences. Like you had this experience when you were younger, drawing with coal. Huh? So let's come to businesses, okay? So what's a business objective? So if you look here, many say a business objective is to make money. Okay, they say you buy low and you sell high, you make a lot of money. But if you look at it, it's also about the better way to describe it is like saying you maximize profits. Okay, that's better than making money. It's not about uh, making 10 ringgit. Why don't we make 100 ringgit? That's better. But if you go even further and someone tells you, I'll give you 10 ringgit and you make me 100 ringgit, he might say, hey, hold on, I can go to this other business and I can get 300 ringgit. So it's about coming to this, it's about maximizing your return on investment. Huh? And then finally, this definition is what I kind of go with. It's about maximizing shareholder value. So you see, anything that we do, a company or a business has got shareholders, and they started the business for a particular reason, and especially to maximize the shareholder value. Many a time, it's all about maximizing the dollars, okay, maximizing the ROI. But you may have some people starting a business for the environment, global environment, or taking money out and giving it out to orphanages and whatnot. So it's not about the dollars and cents, it's more about the community goals. So in that regard, it's important for all of us, wherever we are working, to remember that we need to know what our stakeholders want, what our shareholders value, what's the value. That way we can actually perform better in our job. So we look at value creation, it can be defined as giving something valuable to receiving something in return that's more valuable to you. Okay? So it's like if I work somewhere, I give 3 hours of my time, and the bosses respect it, the board respects it because I give them an output of whatever measurable value it is. But in my mind, I'm getting something more because they're compensating more for the 3 hours. So it is win-win, and there's value has been created for both parties. So as you can see here, it applies to customers, to employees, suppliers, and owners. So do not ever think about creating value just for your customers, because if you just do that, you may not have the best long-term service for your customers. You've got to take into account your suppliers and your employees as well, because they are the ones that make the product. And finally, of the owners, your bosses and the board, okay, what it is that they want. So bear in mind these things and what is of value to them. So if you look at this particular slide, I'll run through, but Josh Kaufman, in his book, Your Personal MBA, I believe, came up with the 12 forms of value, okay? So product, service, and whatnot. We won't go in detail, but I'll just pick up some. In regard to product, it's a product. For example, you bake a cake. You bake a cake and sell it for 5 ringgit, and you collect 5 ringgit or 10 ringgit or whatever it is. So it's a product. The person buying it from you likes it because they feel they don't want to spend the 3 hours baking a cake. For them, they can do something else that's of more value that time. Then we come to service. Service is about providing help or assistance and then charge a fee for the benefits rendered. For instance, typewriting, translation service. There are many things that you can do. So I do quiz game shows to infotain people. So rather than them sitting 3 hours and putting questions together, they engage me. It's cheaper for them, and I get something out of it. It's easier for me too. So I provide that service. So it's win-win. Shared resources is again another form of value. For example, a swimming pool or a gymnasium. Now I want to build a swimming pool in my backyard. Wow, it's going to be so expensive. But by having a common swimming pool in a public area and you go and use it, it's of value to the maker. So everyone pays less, and the owner gets more out of the swimming pool as well. Likewise, we have audience aggregation here. Audience aggregation is when you get like-minded people together and do a subscription service. They all come together. They might just pay 10 ringgit for a year. It's of value to them. But the person doing it, by having such a big crowd, he can do advertisements in that magazine or online website. So they get value as well. So these are just 4 of these 12 forms of value. Feel free to go in and look at these forms of value. And then the types of value, we have economic value versus intrinsic value. So economic value is indeed quite long ago, the Greeks spoke about, hedonism. Hedonism, women, wine, and song. Okay, you call it more material world likes. So you value things like property, money. It's all about money, 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 women, wine, and song. So a lot of them get economic value out of that. But material and even dollars and cents, currencies, or it has a value. As much as it has just economic value, it can also have intrinsic value because you can use it to feed your intrinsic needs. So as the slide says there, intrinsic value is all about feelings, personal fulfillment, morals, and ethics. Indeed, if you look at youngsters when they start working, they're 20 years, 30 years, 40 years old, they are like after economic value. But as people grow older, or even young people who are want to be sages and saints, they go for morals, spirituality. This is where they think about what's going to be there for our future generations. So they think about sustainability and whatnot. So these things are important for them. And moving on, how do we create economic value? The key principles, when you talk about economic value, it's about increasing desirability. So you want to increase desirability of your product, of your service. This is where you do advertising, increase demand as well. Advertising will do that. So you go all out to see how you can reach more people with your product. Increase your price without a doubt. You can actually create uh, higher value for yourself by increasing your price. Brand value, by creating a brand value, everyone says, wow, that is brand XYZ. Therefore, you have, and even eventually, when you want to sell out your business, you get better value for it. And then, of course, job satisfaction. Now, job satisfaction, increase job satisfaction for your employees. That way, they are more motivated and they will do a lot of hard, dedicated work for you as well. And it can only help increase the product quality and therefore desirability. Yeah? So these are the key principles for increase, but also that is reduce as well. So this is not rocket science. If you reduce your production costs, your margins are higher, your profit is higher, and therefore you have increased value for yourself, for the firm. Reduce overheads as well. Indeed, you can reduce a lot of your overheads, but things like utilities, for example, electricity, water supply, it's usually the big boys regulated. But if you get together, you can actually speak and reduce it with all your industry members saying that we can lobby the government because we are of value to the nation. Therefore, you can actually get your overheads down in that area as well. Reducing workplace accidents, you have higher productivity. Yeah? So these are some of the ways to create economic value. Okay, now we come to creating intrinsic value. Now, this is really important. And in fact, I think the more employers, customers know and value intrinsic values, the better the bottom line, the profits can be. The key here is to get to know the people you're working with better. Get to know your customers better. That, of course, is everyone knows that. Once you know your customer, you know what the needs are, you can then supply to that need. Um, then get to know their culture, their aspirations, their emotional drives. And there's got a question, Andreas, what about increasing the value for clients and customers? Yes, without a doubt. That's why I say you increase the value by getting to know your customer really well. Okay, Andreas, yeah, I just answered you while you were asking it. So once you know your customers well, you meet their needs. And sometimes it's about picking your customers. Majority may go for red color. Red color really sells, but you might have a small market who likes blue color. And so you can actually start building a niche for yourself and building it and giving them value. So it's not about following the herd. So once you get to know people better, you can go accordingly. Emotional drives is very interesting as well. Emotional drives, you have something called significance and recognition. These are some people who buy a nice Ferrari and a car because when they drive up, wow, there's significance and recognition. So they do it for that. It's a statement, right? It's a very materialistic value. So if you're a salesman wanting to sell this kind of fancy cars, uh, a couple comes into your showroom. The husband likes it, but the wife is very negative. But if you indeed get to know her and what's holding back is perhaps because she's more of intrinsic value. She's trying to tell the husband, she hasn't told you, but why spend so much on a car when we can give this back to the orphanage? We can do community needs. So if you know that, then you can speak to your boss and you can actually get back to them and say, hey, our company, we are putting 15% of all sales profits towards this orphanage. Wow. So that way, because you got to know your customer, you took care of an intrinsic need, married it with the extrinsic need, and you actually created value, and you made the sale. So you can see examples of that. And most of all, as it says there, fulfill these needs efficiently. Thank you, Andreas. I appreciate your support, understanding what is driving people at the deepest level. Andreas, back then when I was younger and I got into a company working for my managers, and they would set us tasks. And being a young engineer, you really wanted to specialize and make sure you know your work really well. Uh, First time you're hearing intrinsic value, that's good, Al, but it's very interesting subject, and that's why I kind of speak on this. At that time, I would really focus on my work, but the bosses told me, or they picked me as a junior manager. They asked me to go in and manage the local, our company sports club. Sports club was like a community service within this, manage the finances, etc. So what was happening was there was a budget of about 100,000 US dollars for a year, but every year, the people in the sports club, because it was neglected by most managers and whatnot, they would just go in and buy sports equipment, everything at inflated prices. So lots of things were going wrong, and there was management. The company was not getting returns for their value of $100,000. So what happens is they told me, please go in there and clean it up. So when I went in, I was very strict with where you buy. I had multiple quotations and whatnot. And as it turned out, all these people, they could not now make money from the club. And so that was it. But at that time, I was thinking, this is taking my time away from my career, my technological aspirations. But what happened eventually was, I had a chance to go to US. An opportunity came up, but I wanted to continue my career there. And headquarters came back and told me, another company, we can send you to Europe, but not the US. Sorry, okay. I just got married, and my wife was going to spend 2 years there. So I was disappointed. And what happened was, we went on our honeymoon. I took her there. I left my phone number with the company. And you know what? I got a phone call in Boston, and this gentleman, the chairman of the company, says, "Hey, Siva, forget our headquarters. My friend is there in Baltimore. Can you fly over there for an interview?" So that way, because I had given up for the sports club, the chairman actually, valued that. So I had created value for him. And that's how I got to, spend a year and a half, all thanks to doing something and doing something well. So fulfill the needs efficiently. Yeah? Okay, I'd like to speak now about the value stick. This is something that I find immensely, very, very useful. It's by Professor Felix Oberholzer Guy. Okay, so he says he came up with the notion of the value stick, and there are two ends of the value stick. Thanks, Andreas. You've heard of the value stick, Andreas? Okay, we'll wait for Andreas to type this response. So the value stick is when you have on the top end willingness to pay. So now this is willingness to pay is by your customers. And the willingness to pay is basically, and the bottom end you have willingness to sell. Willingness to sell is by your employees and your suppliers. So ideally what you want is the willingness to pay, the price they will pay for your product or service. You want it as high as possible, so you get a lot of money coming into the company. And the willingness to sell, to sell by your employees, your services, by your suppliers. You want them to be as low as possible. So willingness to pay means this is the maximum value that any customer will pay. So it's $10, they will still buy, but you put $10.50, they will walk away. So you want to increase that. Willingness to sell is the minimum value someone will supply you with a product, or someone will sell their services. So it's a minimum value. If you tell them, if they say they'll take the job for $1,000 per month, and you say no, 950, it means they will go off. So you give them the $1,000. So that is the concept. And so the difference between that is seen on the value stick as the value that you have created. So that's value creation. But what's interesting though is these two variables there. Okay. So what you do is along this spectrum, You have price. You, the firm, you decide what the price is. Okay, so let's say the dollar. In fact, Professor Oberholzer Gee uses this. He says when he wakes up in the morning, wow, he really wants his cup of coffee so bad. He would pay $20 for a cup of coffee, or is it $8? I'm not sure. But he goes to his local store and they sell it for $2. He doesn't mind. Wow, get coffee. He's willing to pay up to $8, but here he's got it for $2, and he's really happy. And that's why we call this customer delight. Okay, so just by setting the price at $2, you have created him so much customer delight. Likewise, compensation. So if we say $100, our employee is willing to take only 80 US dollars and he's happy. But by giving him the 20 US dollars extra, we give him employee satisfaction. Okay? So this difference here between the price the consumer pays and the compensation we pay for our overheads, our employees, our raw materials, that is the margin. Okay, so having an idea of the value stick, you can then control the variables. Okay, now what we are trying to do actually is to create bigger margins. We're trying to make a better profit. So if I go to the next slide, yes. So this is what we are trying to do. We, instead of this length of the stick, okay, this value is there amongst all of us. Okay, now we can create more value for the firm by reducing the compensation to of the employees by half, or we can increase our price. So that way, if we do both of that, we can actually double our value, right? So we have created value for us, but we have reduced value for our customers and our suppliers and employees. So what we actually want to do is, and that's not value creation, it's just value redistribution. So aim of every employee, every boss, every strategist should be try to improve, increase the length of the value stick so you actually create real value. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to increase the willingness to pay. So instead of $20 that he wanted to, can we increase it to $40? And how can we do this? We can do this by, for example, better advertisements, making them really want it. We can put in a new flavor, which costs us more, but it does less than the margin that we increased it. So that's one way to increase willingness to pay. How about willingness to sell? We want to reduce willingness to sell. We can do this by having better work conditions at the workplace. We can do it by, we have suppliers. The suppliers who come and give us material delivery. When I was at work in this FMCG company, we used to get raw materials to produce soap powder. And they bring it on lorries, and each sack was about 20 to 30 kilograms. They would put it in the bags to take it out the lorries and take it and put it into our warehouse before it's sent to the manufacturing plant. Unlit. So this is when we then set up, let's make it cheaper for our suppliers. We told them, can you reduce your price? And we will give you this service. We will create the crane to lift it up and put it automatically into our place. And that way, the supplier reduced the cost, and he also increased his value because he had less to pay his workers. So that was how we can actually decrease willingness to sell. So even for employees, if you create a great working environment, you will find many other people of quality coming and applying for your jobs in your company and saying, look, we don't mind, getting less, but we want to come here because we see long-term prospects, we see these things. So that is what is true value creation, when you make the value stick longer and all stakeholders can win. So you can actually, just by controlling price and compensation here, we can increase the firm's margin. This is what any business owner wants. Okay, they want to increase it, but we don't have to do it at the expense of reducing the customer delight and reducing employee satisfaction. Okay, with that, I want to come to this slide because this is important. Many of us, when we work, we get into it, we know all the theory, but suddenly we get into work and everything goes juk, 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 everyone, and we could pull left and right, and that's it. So for me, the most important thing I actually have this as a slide where it comes, multi-part is appearing all at once. But main thing is to keep thinking and contemplating. We all have to set time aside after the day's work. Okay, what went wrong? What went right today? Everything went right, fantastic. But hold on, can it get better so we can increase value for all stakeholders? So this is where we always identify the issue or need and keep reminding ourselves, how can we create more value? So this is why I put that. Remember, remember, remember. Sit up and do that. Huh? So important in this regard to gather information and knowledge. You can do all the thinking, but if you are not having knowledge and information and skills, you can't go too far. So it's important to gather information and knowledge. Secondly, network, collaborate, brainstorm. No man is a jungle. We can't do it on our own. And that's why, hey, Andrea, you're back just in time. This is where your networking is so important because we learn from other people as well. And finally, fear. Do not be afraid to experiment and fail. I believe, let's do it all in this way. You are going to succeed. Huh? I like to finish reminding everyone that remember, 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 we can all create value for ourselves, for our friends, for our employees, for society. So the main thing is making sure we get it to the right place. I finish off with the story of the pen. There was about 30 years ago in my house, okay, I'll be frank, my mom was saying, hey, let's clear up this thing, and as we're clearing up this, all kinds of rubbish in the drawers, came across a pen. My dad was okay, like clearing, and was about to put it off in the dust, in the waste paper basket, the rubbish bin. And my mother stopped him. Hey, don't throw that pen, don't throw that pen. His father said, what's wrong? This pen is so old and you can't even write still. She said, hold on, hold on. 45 years ago when I was in school, my girlfriend and me, we were writing stories, and there was this boy. So they had a story about the pen. They remembered the pen. So with that, my mother now contacted a friend. She searched, she managed to contact a friend, and they met up, and she showed the pen to the friend. The friend freaked out. We were like, friend freaked out, and she said, hey, come on, guys, let's have a get together, and we all had to get together. And their family bought us a fabulous dinner. So my point here is, just by knowing the right customer, she got real value out of it. So everything we do, we really like to do something, and sometimes 90% of the people may not appreciate it. But if you like something that you do, get out there and search for someone who values it. There'll be people who value it, and that way you can actually create more value, doing something that you personally like. So basically that's it. So with that, you can take off the slides, Andrea, and I'm happy to take questions.
Let me unmute myself. Okay. So thank you so much for the presentation. I think it's an interesting way of showing how you can create value and how you can go from coal to diamond. It was great to have all this. We have in the audience Jagatis, Alchan, Andreas, and we had also Christian. So it's really nice to see you all here supporting. And what I would like to tell you and what I would like to ask you is about what's the next step for you? You have this concept, you have the call to diamonds, and how do you live it in your life? How do you make the value on your side? Like, what is your priority?
Okay, thank you so much. The problem I have is I like so many things. Things like subject matter, value creation as a trainer. Then I've developed a lot of things, coding you've seen. And right now that I'm getting older, the IP that I've created, the intellectual property for the quiz game shows. So now what I want to do is actually let people use it. It's an intrinsic value. So that is goal number one, meet up as many people. Wednesday, we had a great session, and 2 or 3 young people came up to me and said, what can we do? So I'm going to onboard them so that they know how to take this further, and they can then earn a lot of money for themselves. And maybe I have some returns as well on a royalty. So that's one aspect. Other thing, of course, is to collaborate with people and reach out internationally so we can speak on value creation. We can speak on technology. Remember, we had this course on, we had the other day, we spoke on technology. We're motivating people. So next week, I'm speaking with this is Global Youth Forum, it's called, based out of Kenya. And they're doing some great work there, and they are trying to empower, youth. So I'm actually teaching them some of these coding skills and whatnot. And so these are the things that I want to do. But by and large, I'm looking to collaborate and work with people so we can reach out to the world and make the world a better planet. And that's why I have, Giants versus Titans, a platform to make the world a better planet. Perhaps we can do something another day on with Giants versus Titans.
Yeah, we will. We will. And please, guys, don't forget that Shiv is creating a game for us. So it's very important to follow the game and to actually get on that board. And how can you do it? It's just by actually reading this little barcode here. And if you read the barcode, then it will take you to a place where you have questions prepared. You just have to add your info, your email, and use always the same email address, as she would say. And then you have to answer questions. And every weekend, Friday, Saturdays, he's updating new questions, exciting things. And we will announce the winners at the very end of the summit after the 5 weeks are over on the 27th of November. So I'm really excited about this. I already played once. I tried the questions. They are super exciting and always different. Thank you so much, Shiv, for doing this for us.
Always my pleasure. Thank you for having me on board.
Thank you so much. So I already have Anna in the studio. I will bring her up. But on your side, Shiv, just on a last note, where can people reach out to you? What's the best way to get connected with you so that people who are interested in collaboration can find you?
Oh, okay. I actually had a slide earlier, but it's not there. The best way to contact me is through Andreas Zabka, but I'm of course on your website as well. But let me give you my WhatsApp number, plus 6012 280 8295. 6012 280 8295. So with that, Shift 60, also I'm also on LinkedIn and whatnot. Search for my name, you should get there. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much. And please connect with Shiv, and I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for your presentation. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
And in the meantime, I see that Anna is here, so I will bring her up. Here you go. Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. All in front of the cameras for a long time.
Yes.
Doing the live streams and enjoying the conversation. So it's all good.
Great.
Nice to have you with us. And today you have a special topic. I will bring it up very quick. So basically, you will talk about digital events for personal brand marketing, which is a very exciting topic. We are aligned because I'm quite in the same field, doing bigger events, online and offline summits. And it helped me a lot in the personal branding. And it helped me a lot to put my name out there and to get more visibility. And in the same time, I'm helping speakers and more people, like almost 400 people already, to get in front of a global audience. So we will talk about the power of this. But before we get there, Anna, introduce yourself a little bit. Who are you? What's your favorite food? Something personal and something about business.
Right. So my name is Anna Osherov. I was born in Ukraine when it was still the former USSR, but I now live in Melbourne, Australia, which is where I'm coming to you live from. My favorite food is actually biltong, and biltong is a South African dried meat, which is slightly different to beef jerky, but in a similar space. That's my favorite food, and I drive all over Melbourne to find really great biltong. So for those that are meat lovers and do enjoy a nice meaty chew, which goes really well with some beer, then our biltong is a really good choice. So that's a little bit about me. For fun, I also drum. I do Brazilian samba drumming to keep myself entertained. And then in business, I am really passionate about digital marketing. My background is in marketing and communications. I currently teach marketing and comms at RMIT, which is the top university here in Melbourne. I teach also my own group of students, a niche industry influencer program, which is all around what we're talking about today, digital events. And to support all of our clients, we've recently built and launched a brand new social media marketing platform called Flint. Flint with a double T, and Flint helps you create more content with less effort by repurposing long form copy like a blog or an article straight into social media images, copy. It schedules, it posts, it tracks it, and basically makes it easy for people to be visible, because really it's all around building your visibility, building your brand, your personal brand, your business brand, and making sure that you are known for the niche industry influencer that you are.
I love it. I love the energy that is coming from you, and you do so many things, wearing many hats, and I think that occupies you a lot. But before we get into the details of your actual topic, how do you balance your life? Because that's also starting to become like a problem, how people are actually balancing out their lives and how people can keep themselves sane in this noisy world. So how do you do that?
That's a really good question, Andrea. And, our gym teacher once taught us, we were doing a mind body mastery program, and really it's all around scheduling your life. And one thing that was really stuck with me when we were learning this was that schedule the things that matter to you first. So when you're looking at your calendar, I will schedule my workouts. I work out 3 times a week in the morning with a friend of mine. I'll schedule those. I'll schedule my drumming every Thursday. I will make sure that on the weekends I limit the amount of time that I spend working, and make sure that I spend time with my friends, with my family. And so I'll make sure that I schedule life before I schedule work and business, and that enables me to have what we call, I don't know, what people call a work-life balance. I don't know. It's all life, really, isn't it? Life's life. If you're working, you're still living. It's not like there's a different person that's doing something that's not you. So I think it's important to, not only schedule the things that matter to you first, but also make sure that you enjoy what you do for the most part in your day-to-day life, and you know why you're doing it.
Yeah, someone was telling that it's more like work-life integration now. So it's not really about, it's not really about balancing, because it's not, doesn't matter. You just have to live it, and you have to figure it out for yourself and integrate the two so that you are enjoying both, right?
Yeah. Yeah, people find, we label things, this is my work, this is my life, but really it's just your life and the activities that you are choosing to do as part of your life. One of those activities is work.
That's true. So we love our work. You love your work. I love this new application. I will check it out, Flint, right? With double
Yes,
T. So we will check it out. I'm still searching for a very good tool to schedule, because I'm always on search for new tools. But let's get back to your topic. So events and digital marketing, it's very, very exciting, and digital events are taking over. I did 3 years ago, I started my summit with the first hybrid event ever. No one knew how to do it. There was not really no event management platforms like there are tons of them today. I was calling people, there were 2. It was not working really well. So it's just changing so fast. So how can we start with this topic? How can we utilize and leverage on digital when we are building a brand and we want to go with events?
That's a good question again, Andrea. And what's funny is I find people get stuck with the technology. Technology is getting in the way, and I'm not able to do what it is that I need to do because I don't know technology, which is really a lie that we're telling ourselves. We all know how to use Zoom. Zoom became one of the fastest growing companies in the world when COVID started. And, in the start of 2020, everybody had to learn how to adopt digital. In fact, digital adoption in both consumer and business captured, or grew over 8 weeks, 5 years into the future. So what that means is that the industry as a whole catapulted 5 years into the future in just 8 weeks. And so when people say, oh, you know what, technology is getting in the way for me, that's really a good excuse for fear and allowing something that's not yourself to rule the decisions that you want to make. So if we reverse back to the question was, how do we get started with digital events? It's really around making the decision that you are ready to share your wisdom, your knowledge with those people that you can really make a difference for. The reason that we talk digital is because it gives you the opportunity to reach a global audience. You know, we're sitting here right now, and yes, we are talking to each other. We are in different places in the world. There are people watching this from all over the world. But not only that, it's recorded and it's there available for always. They say that Google doesn't forget bad things, but also doesn't forget good things. So it's really around making the decision that you've got value to share with others, that there are people out there who need you, they need your products, they need your services, they need to hear your message, and then just committing to taking it one step at a time.
I think here we tapped into something like the fear of people of getting digital, and the digital that is cutting out people because they don't have the access to the digital. So there is two different things, but there are so many ways and so many tools that even I was thinking about what would I do if internet would go down and all these things. And we still have WhatsApp, we still have audio, we still have so many solutions that we can use whenever there is something. We just have to solve it and find a solution. I think it's endless, right? Unlimited.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I love about technology is that it's like many ways to skin a cat. You can't do it this way. You can find a different way to go around to achieve what you want to achieve. I think that at the end of the day, it's really around setting yourself a goal and setting yourself a trajectory of where you want to be headed, and then, finding ways of getting there. No one predicted the start of 2020 what was going to happen, and yet people still somehow, moved forwards and, pivoted and changed direction, and somehow we're all, the majority are still here doing what we do.
Let's get to the deep diving of this topic also, about brand marketing. You are specified or specialized on one specific event, right? You are talking about one specific event that can help people, like workshops and webinars, right? That was your focus, as I saw it in your advertisements or in your postings. Is it the only event, or is it just one part that was working for you very well, and you got deep into this topic and you specialized on this?
Just to get an understanding of your question, do you mean am I only working with webinars, or is it just one event that I ran, or is it just part of bigger strategy? I just need to understand.
I'm just asking that for you, as I saw it in your marketing and how I research you. Most of the time it was about webinars and workshops. So was it really working for you very well, and that's why you are helping people to do it, or people were coming to you and they were like, oh, I want to organize workshops and webinars?
That's a good question. So I actually started down this path because I opened up a physical venue. So in 2018, I opened up the Holistic Business Hub. It was a boutique business event venue where I was teaching marketing workshops, and people were using the space to run their own workshops, to run their own events. Events are notorious for being able to build people's reputation. The moment you stand up in front of a crowd, especially one that you've set up for yourself, you are viewed as an expert. Events have been used to launch products and brands. In 1892, Alexander Richard Bell, who designed the telephone, launched the long-distance telephone line from Chicago to New York in a live event in front of an audience. Apple launched every single one of their products at a live event in front of an audience. So events aren't a new thing, and events are only part of a wider strategy in order to be able to build your reputation. Now, when I opened the venue, what ended up happening was people would book the venue, and then they'd actually have no idea how to market the event. They had no idea how to, plan, promote, present, how to get people in the room and really leverage the event for the value that it can bring to your business. And I thought, it's detrimental to my business model when people are canceling. Plus, I'm looking to teach people how to do marketing. And so I thought, how can we support people who hire my venue to be more effective in the way that they leverage the workshops that they're running for the biggest impact for their own business and also for the people they are there to serve. And so, over time, we looked at, well, what is that strategy? What does that strategy look like? We're running events. Our events are, being leveraged. They're bringing us business. They're making us more visible. How can we teach others? And so that's where we started teaching people how to leverage events for their brand and business growth.
That's the story. I think it's so interesting and inspiring how you built it and how you saw the opportunity. We were talking about business growth and how people can innovate and after the tipping point, so that you are really like seeing what's happening around you and you always act on the right timing and you are building from it and getting inspired by whatever is coming to you and not being afraid of changing your brand, right? It's something that is really, really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. And what's the next step after you figure out, okay, I want to do an event. I would like to build my brand with an event. I decided, I have my decision that I want to use it. I want to stay consistent. What's the next step after that?
So we need to think about events as a marketing strategy. So an event marketing ecosystem that's built into our business model to support us for growth. Right? And so then we need to start with the planning process. We need to have clarity around what type of event am I running? And before we even think about what type of event am I running, the number one question to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of this event for me in my business? Right? Because every marketing strategy needs to have objectives, it needs to have goals. Right? And what I find is 95% when I ask people, what's the purpose of this event for you in your business? The response is, I'm going to teach people how to XYZ. And I say, that's fabulous. It's really important to have a greater good idea and a purpose to make a difference for others. But unless you're making a difference for yourself, it's a really difficult trajectory. So what is the purpose of this event for you in your business? What are you looking to achieve? Are you looking to build brand awareness? Do you just want to be known? Are you looking to build your database? Are you trying to collect details from people? Are you looking to, nurture people through a funnel to the next step? Are you looking to, collaborate and work together with others in order to be able to build partnerships and, get your product or service out there through partnerships? Are you looking to sell a physical product? So we really have to have clarity around what is the purpose of this and what am I trying to achieve? So that's the first step, is planning what we want to do. Why am I doing this, right? And then once we've made the decision, then we can start to look at, okay, well, if let's just say I'm looking to run an event because I would like to get more leads in my database. Great. So how are we going to do that? What's going to be our topic? We start to do some research around what do people want to know? And it's always around how can we give people what they want? Not what do I think that they need, but how do I give people what they want? How do I run an event that is in my niche industry sector that's going to be interesting? So we need to do some research. We need to do some planning around that. We need to then understand that if our purpose is to get more leads in our database, then how do we do that? What type of event am I going to run? Probably a free event, because that's going to give you the most amount of registrations. Right? If you're charging people, you're going to get more commitment. You potentially might get the next step and the next sale. But if you want to build your database, you want to get as many people to say yes as possible. So we need to make it interesting. It needs to align with what the audience wants. And we need to make it as easy as possible to register people in. Right? Then we go, cool, let's promote this. We've now got an understanding of what we're talking about, who our ideal audience is, just like any marketing campaign. Who am I talking to? What am I going to tell them? How am I going to get myself in front of them? Right? And then we start to do a marketing campaign. And, it's when it comes to digital events, the actual event is not the point. As much as people are like, yeah, but the event is not the point. The point is that in running your event, you implement a marketing strategy. So every time you're talking about the event on your socials, on your emails, it gives you reason to talk to your audience, gives you a reason to engage with your audience. And every time you talk about it, you're just building your own brand more and more. And then once you've understood how and where, you do a really solid promotion. And then when it comes to the day, you need to learn to present. You need to shine online because it's a lot of work to get people in the room, right? And if you're there and you don't have clarity around, well, what's the purpose of this for me? And what is the next step? And how do I, learn to be a better presenter? People say, oh, Anna, you're so good, like on stage. I'm like, I've been doing this for, 6 years of like.
There's hard work behind all that.
Yeah, and we get, you get more comfortable, but you're not going to get anywhere unless you make the decision that what I want to do is this.
It's a very nice explanation what you gave, and a very nice flow of what you need to do. So decide whether you want to do it or not, decide whether you want to do it online or offline, decide why you want to do it, what's your purpose with it, build a strategy, create a plan, and then also market it so that you can get more people to see it. So very nice line of events, and you already can write this down, guys, if you're listening to us, and apply it at your next event. A lot of people are here. So Christian is saying hi. Osuji is saying hi from Africa. We have Achan. We have Lalita. We have Andreas here. So nice to have you here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And in the note of on the topic and what is, I would like to go to some tips because I love to give some practical tips to the audiences. So what would be your 3 practical tips for people who are looking to organize events, digital events, and use it for their branding? Your best 3 tips. You have so much experience. You taught so many people. So give us a little bit of information.
So when we look at events, I look at events in 3 sections, and really with a bonus 4th one. So it's really around planning, promoting, and presenting. So as I mentioned, first and foremost, always ask, what is the purpose of this event for me in my business? Answer that question first. Why? Why are you doing this? What's it going to give your business? That's number 1. Number 2 is you are never too pushy. You need to promote your event and get it in front of your audience as much as possible. It takes people up to 12 times to make a purchase decision, right? So if you send out 1 email and you put 1 post on your social media and you just keep your fingers crossed and hope that people will book, they will not. So too pushy is not a thing. You want people to make a decision. Yes, I want to do this. Or no, I don't want to attend this event. And once they've made the decision, it's up to you to nurture them and keep reminding them that they've decided and that they need to show up. So never be, oh, I don't want to be pushy. So that's the 2nd tip. And then the 3rd tip is the magic is in the follow-up. So what happens is we work really hard to get to the event. Then we get on stage, whether it is a digital stage or a physical stage, and we present. And that takes so much energy. You've worked really hard to get there, and then you're there and you're in front of people. And then when you get off the stage, you go, oh, I'm done. But you're not. So always factor in the follow-up. The magic is in the follow-up, because otherwise you're leaving 80% of your business in that room that you worked so hard to fill. So always remember that the magic is in the follow-up, and have a strategy of what's going to happen next. Refer back to your what's the purpose of this event for me in my business, and make sure that your follow-up is reflecting you achieving that goal.
So the 3 points were: first, know why you are doing it. 2nd point is just to be there and have a plan, and then show up and do the plan. And then the 3rd one is the follow-up, so that you can nurture also the people, right? So thank you so much for sharing this with us. And on the final note, because I'm bringing Ashish soon up to the stage, where can people reach you? What's your next event? What's going on in your world, in your business?
Great
We would
question.
like to connect with you.
So to connect with me, literally Google my name. I'm lucky my name is Anna Osherov. There aren't many of us in the world, so you'll be able to find me, no problems, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. You choose, it's there. But what I would love to do is we have launched Flint. Flint is there to support people to be able to promote themselves, including their events. And so we run a fortnightly webinar on how to create more content with less effort and build your visibility through Flint. I'm going to put a link in the chat to the ticket link, which is, I'm just going to pop that there. So that is a private chat for Andrea. But Andrea, if you could share that with
yes, I will do it.
I would love for you guys to jump on and come along and learn a little bit more about how you too can create more content with less effort and keep building that brand reputation and visibility, and ultimately being able to build your revenue, which is really what business is all about. So we need to make sure that we are keeping our pockets full so that we can keep others' lives filled with whatever products, services, messages that we are sharing.
And I love the point that you were saying that we cannot be too pushy, because most of us, especially small and medium enterprises, we are like people who just doesn't want to put all our weight and all our voices out and just push people to come and go. And we are not really salespeople. We are nice people, especially the social entrepreneurs. So it's a good advice to remind ourselves time to time that if I am doing better, then my clients will do better because I can provide better service, right? So it's actually mine and my customers' goal to grow together. And so
look,
that
a good way to think about that, if that sort of mindset gets in the way, is what we do is we tell people, we identify the problem for them so that they know that they've got a problem. We show that there is a solution. And if we are not pushy enough to get them to work with us, what we're actually doing is just sending them to work with somebody else. We're priming them. We're like, hey, you've got this problem. Yes, there's a solution. But they're going to go to somebody else because they choose to go with the person that's been the most recent and the most valuable in their mind. So you need to be the most recent and the most valuable. So always keep yourself front of mind for those people you can make a difference for.
So most recent and most valuable. Let's close the conversation with this point, and it's a nice point to remember. I'm always asking the audience to rewatch these videos. As Anna said, it's never going away. It will be staying on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere. So you can rewatch it and make notes, and then you can just use it for your advantage and for your business to grow. Thank you so much, Anna, for being here. I will play a short video, and then after that, we will bring Ashish up to the stage. Thank you so much, Anna. Please reach out to Anna Osherov as soon as you can. Go and find her. Search for Anna Osherov. The name is on the link on the screen. And let's play the video. Bye bye. And here we are, a quick switch, and magically Ashish arrives to the studio. Hi Ashish, how are you today?
I'm good, Andrea. How are you?
I'm good. We are just like talking about digital marketing and events, and today it was all about marketing and how you can put your business out there. So I think it was an exciting day, and I learned so much throughout this conversation myself, making notes and trying to help the people to just digest the information and make the most out of it.
We all learned, it was very exciting listening to Anna, and I'm looking forward to learning from all the other speakers.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you here. And today we just have a very short 5 minutes together because you will come back with me after the Women Startup competition that we will join soon from 4 p.m. It's the first time that we are doing it in Southeast Asia, and we have many candidates to jury and evaluate today. Ashish, tell us a little bit about what we will listen to after the Women Startup competition. What will you be talking about in the evening session? What will be your topic?
I think I'm looking at sustainable digital transformation, and having spent close to about 10 years in technology, and now as co-founder of a sustainable luxury brand with Catherine, I'm able to sort of make sense of why sustainability is important, especially in a power-hungry industry like IT. So I'm sure a lot of you understand that when your systems power on, when your laptops power on, many times heat is generated. So I don't want to get into the technology behind it, the mechanic, but heat is generated. Now, interestingly, if you drill down to the very basics, uh, writing good code actually helps you reduce your carbon footprint. By which I mean, a typical task which can be done using your various programs, if you have a good coder who's able to write 2 lines of code, because of which you're able to load your page faster, versus somebody who's not very proficient in a typical language, will end up writing 1 page of code. It is very intuitive. You don't have to understand technology to understand where would you take more time to load code. If you have a 1 page, it's going to take more time. More time that your computer takes, more heat is generated, which is not good for the environment, right? So I'm just getting into basics. So I'll simply be talking about a few points that I have learned through my 10 years of having worked in technology, of how you could be looking at a sustainable digital transformation of a business. Because transformation now is ubiquitous. Everybody is looking to transform the business. Um, you know, America, of course, being the biggest market, then of course Western Europe. Now across the world, people understand the value of transforming the business from the books onto spreadsheets and all of that. So that's what we'll be talking about.
I'm so looking forward to it, to this conversation. And we were talking earlier, and I know that you are wearing many hats, so same like me. So it's kind of like very nice to just meet with you before and give a little bit of taster to the people of who you are. So if you can just introduce yourself like a very short time, as we are leaving soon to do the Women Startup competition, that would be great. And then we call back all the people from 7:30 tonight, Malaysia or Singapore time, for your 30-minute session. So tell us a little bit about yourself, in short, who you are, what's your favorite country, what do you like to do, what are the many hats that you wear?
Thanks. It's not a long introduction. I'm a business professional, and I have about 30 years experience, which is an equal split between India, Africa, and then the US. Now, of course, I'm back in India. And the reason I'm back in India because me and my fiancée, Catherine, have started a sustainable new luxury brand called Gaia More. And because of the fact that we work with our artisan communities in India, Catherine has quit her job and she's joined me here in India. So that's the reason I'm in India. As regards the favorite country or favorite region, I don't think I have favorites. I've been a global traveler. I lived and worked across countries, across geographies, across cultures. So I'm lucky to have traveled to all those countries and have those connections. So Andre is mentioning about my various hats. So I'll just quickly tell you about the other two. I mean, one being, of course, co-founder of Gaia More. The other is I'm a venture partner with an American fund which is based out of Boston. That's an impact fund that's focused solely on high value startups in India and in Africa. So I work with a ton of startups across these two geographies. And the third role I have is that of Chief Business Officer of a boutique IT services firm, which is based out of Singapore, but has dev centers in India and now has recently opened an office in the US. So when I talk of boutique, I'm talking of Web 3.0, augmented reality, virtual reality, contemporary technologies, including blockchain, happens to be one of our core competencies. We have delivered projects on blockchain, and right now we're working on a major project for oil and gas sector, for which we have fund from from the largest oil and gas company, which is based out of Europe. So this is a little introduction about me. Happy to help. I believe in paying it forward. I'm looking to be of help to people today.
Thank you so much, Ashish, and I'm so thankful for you for being here. We are leaving the studio now, so I will just ask one last question. What's the most exciting thing in your life right now?
The most exciting thing is to be with Catherine and to see our project take off and to make that impact that we have envisioned for Gaia with Gaia Mori.
I will follow this story, and we will feature you on the hub whenever you have your different stepping stones and all your milestone doing. So
We'd
just
love to.
post it. I would love to feature you in the blog and on the platform. And now we are heading, guys, to the Women Startup Competition. So if you would like to join us, just reach out to me. We will be in a private Zoom room. Actually, we will be evaluating the participants with other jury members, and we will also announce the winners. So it will be a quick pitching session, 2 minutes pitches and 4 minutes Q&As. Imagine they have to summarize what they have in 2 minutes, which is always hard, right, Ashish, for startups?
Yeah. I've seen a ton of those in Boston, MIT, Harvard. So exciting. Yes, be happy to help. So is there a separate link for this, Andre? I just want to.
Yes, for us, for everyone, it's a separate link. It's in your invitation, so you will find it in your calendar.
So I'll leave the studio and join there.
Yes, exactly. So see you soon, Ashish. And for the audience there,
bye-bye.
We will meet with Ashish around 7:30 for the 30-minute session where he will talk about more about his own topic. So see you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.